up green behind.
What's that, Antonio?
So I like that wake you up green behind you.
Hey, I know for you it's 1 o'clock, man. You should be waking up.
Oh man, I've been up. No, if I weren't though, I would be there.
So to start COVID last year when we started working from home, I painted my wall green because I wanted a true green screen for the virtual background, and I got tired of those. So now I'm trying to slowly add art to the back of it, so it's not gonna make you sick as you look at my screen.
It works.
Sherwin-Williams Gecko, if you're on the market. Cool. All right, well, I got 1 o'clock, which is my time here on the East Coast. Nicole, what time is it for y'all there? It's like 10, 11?
Yeah, it's 11.
11, perfect. Excellent, mid-morning. Cool, so let's jump right into it. Let's start on time. But first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. We're starting to fill up. We got 29 people joining the room. Super excited to teach this topic. I think this is probably one of my favorite things to teach because it's such a valuable resource. And a lot of times we think it's too complicated. I think a lot of us are afraid to use Google because like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to advertise there. And I'm here to just tell you, it is one of the easiest things that you can advertise with. It just takes a little bit of peeling back the onion and understanding how it works for you to have success through it. So we're going to take, like I said, just probably the first 15 minutes, kind of work through some things on a plan so that we can go into this kind of effectively. But to cover today's classes, I want to start with discussing what is a Google ad and why it is in a position to be successful. I'm going to go into what makes an ad successful to start with, and then we're going to go into the how-to part of this. We're actually going to jump into creating our plan, building an ad inside of Command, not to mention all the technical things that we need to do before we even get into Command. And then we're going to run one. So if you want to run an ad with us today, let's prepare to do that. And if not, we'll get this recorded and we'll get it sent out to everybody. Sound good? All right. So first and foremost, I like to, this is funny because the tech guy, right? I'm going to pull out my whiteboard here and we're going to get a little bit scribbly here. I like to talk about the 3 buckets of online leads. Before I even start talking about Google, I like to think about, okay, what are the 3 sources that we generally have for online leads? Anyone have any clue as to what those buckets are?
Would Facebook be one of them?
Yeah. And I kind of call that one social media, just to wrap it up. You can package Instagram and TikTok and everything else. And that's one that I usually put on the far right of my little drawing here. But I'm just going to use circle, but I call these buckets. But yeah, let's just call that Facebook or social media. Okay. I'll hold it up to the camera. So that's one of the buckets. What else? How else do you get online leads? Zillow, yeah, and that's the one I put on the far left. And just to wrap it up in a nice little beautiful package, I call these listing search websites. So whether that's Zillow or the name we don't like to mention, it's like Voldemort, whether it be Zillow, Realtor.com, your KW address, like your KW website, that's where we want them. So we're gonna have that one on the far end, but we have, you can't see my terrible handwriting, your search engine or your search listing websites, Zillow, KW.com, whatever. On the far left, or excuse me, far right, this is where you have your social media. And I love that we mentioned these in this order. What do we think goes in the middle?
Someone put in the chat, emails.
Well, I would argue that you're typically not getting a lead derivative from your emails. That person had seen your email address somewhere else.
I believe maybe it's the touches you do with the contacts that are already in your system, perhaps.
Oh, guys, we are overcomplicating this. What is today's topic today?
I'm guessing from
listings.
What is today's class called?
Google
goes right in the middle. Google goes right in the middle. So just to simplify this, because there may be some confusion, right? We may have other touches that go out. We may have other touches that do hit the interweb.
One second. I don't know how to lower the volume.
Okay, cool. All right. So not to confuse things, yes, you are going to have touches that kind of interact with the personal world, the physical world, and the online world. But as far as like the 3 places that we get online leads specifically, we have your search listing websites. Search listing, this is a place that people go to search listings. This is Zillow. This is KW.com. This is whatever, Realtor.com. But these are your sites that your potential consumers, your potential clients are going to search specifically listings. People do go directly to Zillow to go find an agent. On the far right is social media. These are people that just, I don't know, they may be even on the toilet at the time they open up their phone. They pull up Facebook and go, ooh, look, a pretty house. And then somehow they magically become a lead. These are not people who intentionally went out necessarily to go become a lead that day. They just so happened to open up Facebook, saw a listing or saw an ad and got connected with a real estate agent. So this is a lot of times that I do teach the class Facebook leads for $1 because they are so effective. And yet we have to understand the mindset of these 3 buckets. So let's just break those 2 down. Somebody who's specifically going and looking at listings on Zillow.com compared to someone who's looking at pictures on Facebook, what do you think the urgency would be between those 2 groups of people?
The Facebook people are a longer, more strategic sell, if you will. It takes longer for that lead you've got to do a lot more convincing, a lot more educating for that lead to be basically cost effective.
I love everything that you said there except strategic. It's consistent. It could be a very long journey, but without overthinking it or thinking that we need to create a strategy, I just have to touch them a lot consistently.
Yeah.
Scott, I see your hand raised. What do you got, buddy?
Hey, man. So I have multiple people who have clicked on learn more, whatever, on Facebook ads, on multiple ads, completely different areas of town. I've only gotten a hold of one, and, she's like a retired 80 something years old or whatever, just clicking on pictures. And, but I've probably got at least 4 people, maybe 5 that have clicked on multiple ads of mine that I've run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking at pretty pictures.
And exactly, right? Nobody opens up their Facebook and says, oh, I want to be sold something, unless they're going to maybe the marketplace intentionally. A lot of times we just have really, really good creative ads that catches the attention when we get these leads. And Facebook's so brilliant. They know everything about everybody that they're able to run your campaign in front of the same people. To your example, Scott, they may push it in front of the same person multiple times, but that's because Facebook thinks that person's looking at a house. We know they're not. They're looking at pictures of houses, and that may give us a hint that they're looking for something long-term. But on the flip side, somebody who's typing in Zillow.com or samjackson.kw.com or whatever, and they're going and looking at specific houses on a website, what assumptions can we make about that group? This group over here on the far left.
Well, they're a whole lot more intentional. I mean,
yes. Yeah. Keep going.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a reason that they're looking for homes. It could be just simple curiosity, but it's probably a level of curiosity that's greater than someone who trips across my Facebook ad when they're perusing Facebook.
Yeah. And comparatively to those that said, ooh, look, a pretty house and become a Facebook lead, is it fair to say that the people on Zillow have probably done a little bit more research as a consumer?
Oh, certainly. Or they're about to do their research on Zillow, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So is it fair to assume that maybe they have it narrowed down to the school district they want to be in, the county they want to be in, how far away they want their commute to be, if that's a factor for them?
Yep.
You think they've checked off some of like their own pre-qualifications in their mind as a consumer of what they're looking for?
Yep.
Yeah. So in terms of getting a lead from one of these sources, would you call that, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being really, really hot, where do you think a Zillow lead would rank?
7 to 8.
Fair. I actually love that number a lot. Yeah. On a Facebook lead, where do you think they are?
3 to 5.
Yeah. Lower quartile.
Or maybe a 2.
Yeah. Karen's saying 2. Yeah. Scott, 2. I'd probably agree with that. Somewhere between 2 to 5. Occasionally you'll get a 5, and that's like finding a unicorn. Now, what we didn't talk about is Google. How do we get Google leads? Like, let's not jump ahead into class today. But like, you've all have used Google at some point, right?
Yep.
No, Karen's saying no. Karen's a liar. All right, Karen. How many of you have seen a Google ad?
I have.
When do you go to Google?
When I'm looking to
all the
learn
time.
something.
All right, Rick, and then whoever that was next.
I go to Google when I'm either looking to learn something or I'm looking to find something.
When you know nothing, right? You start with Google.
Yeah, that's typically the #1 search engine that everyone uses, although there's many others out there. But it's kind of like, what are you looking for and where are you going and what are you putting in? So I typically don't realize that there's ads out there because I'm just focused on what was the here and now.
Marley, you just became my best friend again. Yeah, that's exactly it. And what you said was so important is that sometimes we don't even realize that we clicked on an ad. We'll get to that in a minute. We're gonna open up Google here in a second, but from a consumer standpoint, the mindset is that I know nothing about this particular thing. I'm going to Google to do my initial research.
Oh, and now when you put something in and stuff generates, you see that little thing that reads ad in the corner.
Legally.
That's the ad.
Like it's their own website, but I didn't realize that was an ad of Google.
So
Yeah.
sponsored ad.
Oh yeah. All right. So Marla already got value out of today's call. Excellent. Yeah. So our goal as that real estate agents is that we want to position ourselves in Google because we know that when we go to Google, we can assume that our consumers have just begun their research. They may type in things like best school districts in Atlanta. That would give us an indicator that they're probably going to relocate to Atlanta. Homes for sale in Boulder, Colorado. There, whenever I type that in as a consumer, I expect to get a list of websites that are going to show me specifically listings for the area that I searched. I think about my most recent moves. I moved from Pittsburgh to Atlanta about 2 years ago. We started with school districts, best school districts in, and then we typed in like 4 or 5 different areas that we thought we might move to. And those were in close proximity of where I thought my office would be. I started with schools first. Then I got with houses. So my research started typically for my priority, which was my family. I was moving with 2 little ones. It may be different. You don't want to go to schools all the time. And yet you got to think like a consumer. I think that's so important when we're living in this online space. We have to think like a consumer, not like a real estate agent. There's so many times that we're wrong as real estate agents. That's where we overcomplicate things. I think we started that with the chatter before we started class, is that like sometimes we just make it really hard for ourselves. And that's because we're not thinking like a consumer. Okay. So I love to call Google the Goldilocks of leads because it's just right. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's right there in the middle. It's perfect. Another reason for this is let's talk about how much it's going to cost you, because that's important too. We all have budgets, and there's all a percentage of this budget that we want to spend towards advertising, but we expect results from it. For those of you who have advertised previously with Zillow or one of those companies, how expensive is it to run ads?
I understand it to be quite expensive.
Thousands of dollars per zip code is what it used to be. They've now changed their model to where it's several, let's just call it 30% of your commission now. And depending on your price point, that could be tens of thousands of dollars per transaction, not just monthly, but per transaction. That's really expensive. On the flip side, for those of you who've done Facebook ads, how cheap is it to advertise on Facebook? What's it cost you?
Dirt cheap.
$10, $5, $20, depending on what you're running.
You decide, right? That's the beauty of it, is you decide, and you get to play red light, green light. You get to put the gas on if you want to, or you can hit the brakes if you want to. But yeah, ultimately you're in charge with Facebook. Again, Google is the Goldilocks. I'm going to say it again. This is why I love Google. It operates the same way as Facebook. I decide what my budget is. Now, personally, I'm going to recommend a higher monthly spend on Google than I would Facebook. Normally, when I run Facebook ads, I will not spend more than $50 at a time. That's it. If I had the perfect budget, I would spend probably $250 a month on Google. That's me personally. What's worked well. You may want to start with less, and that is okay. There is zero judgment here. You just may also get fewer results, and that is okay too. Because what do we know? On a scale from 1 to 10, if we said that Facebook's like a 2 and Zillow is closer to an 8, those on Google, we know that they're good leads. They may take a little bit longer than a Zillow lead to turn out, but they are good leads. Why do I know they're good leads? This is not your question.
There was intention.
Yes, Melissa, nailed it. Nobody accidentally went to Google and types in homes for sale in a zip code or a town. We know their intent. They're not sitting on the toilet looking at pretty houses and becoming a Facebook lead. They're intentional about it. So we're getting them way before there's competition and way before they cost us too much money. Our goal is that we just need to follow up with them for a course of time. Anyone know how long the real estate transaction starts from that moment they hit Google into the moment they become a closed transaction, typically?
18 months.
I'm gonna guess and say 9 months.
Pretty close, 7 to 10 months. Yeah. Somewhere between 7 to 10 months from the moment someone searches to the moment they close is about 7 to 10 months. That's the beginning of their research all the way to moving day. Scott, I saw you had your hand raised. Go ahead, buddy.
No, I had left it up there. I just took it down. But I had guessed 18 months because I remember that number for online leads being 18 months. I didn't know Google was shorter.
And that's why we broke down online leads too, because I think a lot of times when we say online leads, we think it's going to take a long time. I would argue Facebook specifically probably is closer to 18 to 24 months.
What would you say is the lead time on Zillow?
Say it again, Karen.
What would you say is the lead time on Zillow?
Probably half that. So it's probably somewhere between 3 to 6. Now, like COVID changes a lot of things, right? So a lot of times whenever people are at home or they're out of work, just like what we see anywhere in online leads, you're going to have looky-loos across all 3 of these. You're going to have these outliers that are going to throw off those numbers. But yeah, you will get some people that are hot, ready to go, who've done their research on Zillow. And you're also going to get the people who just like to look at houses. I think about my mom growing up. She spent all of her extra time looking at realtor.com. She's still lived in her home for 37 years now. Still hasn't moved. It's a hobby for some people. My mom not excluded from that one. So does this make sense? Why Google is kind of like a good sweet spot and why you should invest in this? I don't need to convince you any longer.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So before I go in, I just want to make another crystal clear note here of something that's really important. The success of a Google ad really depends on the strength of your website. Facebook, for example, when I run a Facebook ad, now through command, we have this opportunity whenever someone clicks on our picture of our house or clicks the learn more button, they are prompted to give us their contact information. Facebook now does the converting part for you. Same thing with Zillow on the opposite end of the spectrum. When someone hits talk to the agent or learn more about this listing on Zillow, they are then prompted with a contact form. With Google Ads, when somebody clicks on the Google ad, where do they go?
Your website.
To your website. So it's really, really up to the strength of your website to convert these leads. So you need to ask yourself, where am I directing people to? Where am I sending to them when I create this ad? When they click on it, where do they go? And does that website either one, create enough value in which they want to work with me and get more information? Or have I funneled it in a way in which they are going to go into my database? Am I crystal clear on that? Because I don't want to get an angry phone call about a month from now when you say, hey, Sam, I ran an ad and I didn't get anything from it. Because the first question I'm going to ask you in return is, well, tell me what website you sent them to.
Sorry, Sam.
Okay,
so website is your KW website. And if you have an LLC, do you combine the websites or how does that work?
Yeah, it's a good question. So one, I'm a company guy. I'm going to recommend the KW website. I think it's the best. You may pay for something out of pocket. I don't want to speak generally for others. You may pay for another third-party company for your website. That's totally fine. Just make sure that you're directing people for lead capturing. The other thing that I would answer with that one is I would make this as simple as possible. think about, if I were to click on this ad, where do I expect to go? So if I'm excuse me, if I'm setting up my ad to go after people who are searching homes for sale in a school district, I'm not going to send them to the home page of my website, which is see another search bar. I'm going to go deeper into my website to deliver what my ad kind of promised.
Okay, how do you set that up? Because on my site, I have the school districts, I have travel times if they have to look for work, I have community centers, shopping, water access because I'm a boater, and those particular things. So that's actually pretty cool that they could just be directed to that particular spot.
You may want to run several different.
Go on and search the rest of you.
Yeah, you may want to decrease your budget for each of those and run several ads. If you're going after multiple keywords, like things like waterfront properties, and you direct them to a page that has all of the waterfront properties, yeah, you just may want to run a smaller ad that's a little bit more targeted.
So Sam, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying it's not, first of all, you got to have a strong website. So that's a whole nother thing in terms of website optimization.
Yep.
But what you're also saying is if you're, for example, advertising a property that is a beachfront property, and they see that in your ad, yeah, you're going to go to your homepage, right? But is that sufficient enough a place for them to go to, or do you create a landing page that's provide the search for beachfront properties?
Yeah, so Tony, you can absolutely create a landing page. For the sake of today's class, I'm probably not going to touch that. And to be honest with you, that's not something that I do a whole lot more. I don't do a whole lot of that lately now that our command websites are as good as they are. Okay. So for example, I'm gonna pull up my website. I'm just gonna hit the search button. It's gonna take me to my map. And I don't remember where I was searching last. Let me zoom out. I still don't know where we're at. Okay, I was in the middle of Missouri for whatever reason. I think it's the last class I taught was in the Lake of the Ozarks. But let me just zoom into Colorado for the sake of this. Let's do Colorado Springs. My mouse went there. Specifically, if I'm going to target this area around Prospect Lake, I want you to notice something. Up here at the top of my URL, I'm making this sucker flash and highlight blue. As I move in and out, you're going to see the coordinates of my map change. So if I want people to land here, I'm going to copy and paste this link, and this is where I'm going to direct people to go. So this is my landing page. If I want them to see all of the houses for sale in the state of Colorado, I'll zoom out even further, and I can copy this link, and I can send people to a Google ad that says homes for sale in Colorado. Now, generally, I don't recommend searching that wide of a radius, but just to show you, these links are going to change. Even though I'm on my website, this website right here is now my landing page. I probably want to get a little bit more specific. Let me just do mountain homes near Grace Peak. May not be
you're doing what I was talking about.
Yeah. So this is going to act as my landing page now. So I'm going to copy this link, and this would be the one that I would use for my ad.
Right.
So what you're saying is once you find the area and given the startup of your ad, that's particularly your hyperlink for their search criteria.
I'm going to be a little more human here. This is my promise. So this is delivering what I talked about in my ad. If I said, hey, go look, here's an ad for all the $1 million mountain homes in Buffalo Mountain, and I sent people to my homepage, what do you think the consumer is going to do?
Like that validation of the integrity of what they were looking for, they'll just go search another site, go back, and then click another one.
Yep,
or they're just going to say, screw it, I know Zillow, I'm going to go to Zillow. Right? So this is called a friction point. This is a term kind of used inside of websites and consumer behavior a lot. My ultimate goal is I want to create less friction points. If I sent somebody to my homepage and now they have to type in the same thing they just typed in Google, essentially, that's a friction point. Whereas if I offered, here's the mountain homes for $1 million in this area, I'm going to send them to that area. Does that make sense?
Yes. So for every ad, you need basically one link. And so that's your keywords, or what do you want to pinpoint on? So that could create, if you wanted 5. So if I wanted to do school districts, travel times, shopping, boating, then that would be basically like 5 ads.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So imagine you're going to run an ad for your open house, and you talked about 9 other things except your open house. And then you make it hard for the person to know the date and the address.
It's actually pretty smart to do that too.
Simplify it. Less friction points. Cool. All right, are we clear on this? Got to have a strong website. You got to make it easy. Less friction points. You may want to run smaller, easier ads and more targeted too. Because, and let's be realistic, if I were to zoom in specifically to where I was before, where we had these subdivisions, I could specifically create an ad for 3 peaks. Oops, zoomed in too far. Sorry about that. I could create a Google ad that says homes for sale in 3 peaks, or whatever subdivision that you are currently looking to farm in. How many of you desire to increase your sales volume? Go pick a neighborhood with a higher sales price and then go advertise towards that one. Direct people to the next price point up from you. I can go run an ad now specifically for 3 peaks or somewhere else. Make sense? Cool. All right. So let's go to Google. This is where we're going to start things off. So even before we jump into command, we first have to go and create what we call a Google. They used to call it Adwords. So if I slip up and call it Adwords, I mean the same thing. But we're going to go create a Google Ads account first. Now, in order to create a Google Ads account, you must have a Google account, a Gmail account, and this cannot be your @KW account. This has to be like a separate personal account that's attached to Google. So I'm going to go to Google. And how about this? This is actually kind of ironic. We're going to search Google Ads. And it's going to take us to an ad for Google Ads. And if you didn't get the Google Ads ad, just scroll down and you'll see the website they're looking to go to, which is ads.google.com. So Bill in the chat asked, why can it not be a KW Gmail account? It's because that Gmail looks at our KW Google account as like an enterprise account. So we have some things that just are kind of turned off from Google. Cool. All right, so I'm going to go to ads.google.com or just click on one of the Google Ads links you see here. And we're going to go through, we're going to create an account. Now, for me, and this may be different because I've experienced this, that sometimes Google looks a little bit different for everybody. Ultimately, what I'm going to do is click the Start Now or Sign In button. If you already have like a personal Gmail account, you can click Sign In. It's going to log you into a Google Ads account. Just pause if you already have one of those. Go ahead and sign in, but pause. But for the rest of us, I'm going to click Start Now. And Cynthia, go ahead.
Is anyone going to see that email?
No, they will not. It's just where you get notified.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. You get notified for like a payment on your account. I think there's not a whole lot of communication that goes there. It's a good question. Now, Cynthia, I'm dying to know, what inappropriate Gmail account do you have?
No.
It's not inappropriate. It's silly, and it's in Spanish too.
Okay.
I'm like, that's probably not business-like.
I'm picking Hottie Realtor 22 at gmail.com. Yeah, that's what mine used to be. All right. I'm kidding. All right. So I'm gonna click on Start Now. Your screen may look different from mine just because I'm logged into my Gmail account, but you're gonna go through essentially creating a profile. I have a bunch of these created, but essentially you're gonna click on New Google Ad. All right. So Kathy says hers says I do not have access. If that's the case, you may just want to log out of all of your Google stuff. So if you can see inside of my Chrome, I'm logged into my personal account. You may just want to sign out. May make this whole process a little bit easier.
Mine has, what's your main advertising goal?
Okay, let me get to that in a second. Pause there because I'm going to walk you through that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to click on New Account just for those who've never done this before. It's going to have you sign up and sign in. Do y'all see a screen similar to this? What do you want to promote, or did you see this already?
Hold on, am I supposed to, I'm sorry, am I supposed to click on start now?
Yes, yeah, start now if you can.
So I'm trying to get it on the other computer, but okay, and then new Google Ads account?
Yes, yep, yeah, new Google Ads account, and you're gonna sign up. Rena, I see your hand raised, go ahead.
Yes, hi Sam. I signed in with one of the Gmail account I have, and what I see on the screen is what's your main advertising goal. I don't see what you see.
Okay. Now on your screen that says, what is your main advertising goal, for those of you that have that screen? Do you have a button down here at the bottom that says switch to expert mode?
I don't see it.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Scroll down. That's ultimately the button we're going to click on. So if your screen looks different from mine, totally fine. We just want to click on this button that says switch to expert mode.
I don't see it, Sam.
Okay. Rena, are you in a position that you can share your screen with me real quick?
I'm using 2 laptops.
Okay, so not. Just try and take good notes, and I can help you afterwards if that's okay.
Okay.
Does that work? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. This is really funny because this is the first time we've ever created a Google ad together, and yet we're gonna switch to expert mode. And the reason for that is that when you're setting up your Google account, your Google Ads account for the first time, Google wants to make it easy for you, and they're going to walk you through their prompt to go buy an ad through Google. We're not interested in doing that. Basically, what we want to do is just go connect our credit card and jump to command. So to do that, we're going to click on the switch to expert mode. Mahir, go ahead.
I don't see that switch to expert mode when I basically logged in. It took me to, I might be too much ahead of it. It says all campaigns and Google Ads.
I'm going to click through to this. Our screens may catch up.
Okay.
You may be one or two screens ahead of me, but we're going to try and catch up. Google, like I said, Google's a little bit weird. You may end up in different places.
Mahir,
I want to show you ultimately what we want to do, though.
Mahir, it's on the bottom of the screen that asks, what's your main advertising goal? At the very bottom, it'll ask, are you a professional marketer? Switch to expert mode.
Yeah, that's right.
Was there a step right before this that I missed? Because mine has like get more calls, get more website sales.
You might be ahead of me. Yeah, your other button should have been either sign up or sign in.
Yeah, I signed in. And then I did that thing, what you just said, new Google Ads account, but I never saw the screen that you have.
Okay. Do you have any, and you may have to scroll down a little bit more on your screen, or maybe you can zoom out, but do you see?
Oh, you're right. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you may need to scroll down. Yeah.
Would it be different if I already have Google account, I guess?
Possibly, and we might be able to catch up to you.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Thank you.
So I'm gonna click the button here that says switch to expert mode for those that have it, and this is where our screens may make sense. Do y'all see this now, or have something like this?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. So again, we're gonna click the fine print. We're gonna click this little blue button that says create an account without a campaign. So I think this may be the screen that catches all of us up. But basically, what we're gonna do is we want to get to the end of page without creating a Google ad. So I'm going to create an account without a campaign. I'm going to click on that. And from here, I'm just going to say, okay, I'm going to confirm my information, dollars, billing country, and time zone. It should be pre-checked for you based on your computer data. I'm going to hit submit. And then it's going to take me to congrats, I'm all done. We didn't really do a whole lot, but now I'm going to hit explore account. And this is where it gets really, really overwhelming. You're going to see a page that looks like you're going to create a campaign with a whole bunch of metrics and stuff. We're going to ignore all of it. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this little prompt that Google's giving me. But is everyone on the screen that looks like this?
No.
No?
Yes.
Who said no?
Similar.
Sarah, I said no. I'm just taking notes at this point.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not, but I haven't seen much of what you've seen, but it could be because I already had a Google account set up.
Yeah, if you can, for those of you who may not have a similar screen, do you have a spot in the top right hand corner to where it has your email, maybe your picture, and then this unique number right here? Top right hand corner, it's really small. I'm going to try and move my mouse.
Oh, so that's okay that the phone number is a little different number?
Yeah, it's despite using 10 digits, it's not a telephone number. This is your Google Ads number.
Okay.
And this is what we ultimately need to get.
What do you put in for a business name?
So you shouldn't have had to put a business name in.
Oh, sugar. Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to skip that. You should have clicked on expert advertising, and then create an account without a campaign. The two buttons we're looking for. So Estrella, you're saying you're on page 1. Do you have a button that says, let me go back a few screens.
Let's say new campaign.
Freezing now. Let me see here.
Oh, sugar. You're recording.
Yeah, that's where I am. I'm at the new campaign page too. And I think we're just ahead of what he's doing because we've already set up some things for our Google account.
It could be. Yep. So I'm clicking new Google Ads account. If you're on this screen with me, when it loads, we're going to click on switch to expert mode, this tiny little button right here. Switch to expert mode. If you've done that.
I don't have that button.
I don't have that button. Are you on this screen then?
No. So the first screen that says what do you want to promote, I have like a blue box about your website. And then under it, it says to promote my business profile, I have to sign up for a Google My Business. So I guess I need to do that first.
I think you might be on the wrong website. I think you're on Google My Business instead of Google Ads. Can you go to ads.google.com? That's a completely different product inside of Google. I'm going to continue back to where we were though.
Yes, that's okay.
Okay. All right. So if you're inside of Google Ads, it doesn't matter if your screen is a perfect match to mine. What we're looking for though is being able to get to your settings and then ultimately your number up here. For those of you that have the ability to do it, we want to click on this button that says Tools and Settings. This is going to be a drop-down menu. And what we have to do is we have to put our credit card on file. We have to do that specifically through Google first. So when you click on Tools and Settings, if my memory serves me, we're going to go to Billing and then Settings. And this is going to have you either connect to PayPal or sign up with a credit card. We're going to give Google our transaction information, our billing information. You can go ahead and take the 10 seconds to do that. And I see some hands raised. Are those old hands or new hands? I got Raina and Mahir.
Mine is a new hand.
Okay, go ahead.
When I did the setting, it says billing setup is not allowed because this account is canceled. Resume your account first. So how do I go resume it?
Say that word for me again, Mahir.
So it says billing setup is not allowed because this account is canceled. Please resume your account first.
Resume your account. What email address are you logged in with, Mahir?
It's my personal Gmail account.
Interesting. I may have to take you offline on that one. I'm not sure where that one happened. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure. It looks like you have some type of previous Google issue. Yeah. So Bill's in the chat saying you could have canceled your account. Not sure why that would have happened. If you've advertised in the past, that could be it. Okay. So the hard, and like, again, I know I kind of talked a big talk that this is easy. This is the hardest part. This is the part where we're still on Google. It all gets easier when we have to leave Google and we can go back to command. I promise. All right. So has everyone, or at least one person today, have been able to put their credit card in?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, we got some winners. I'm going to go ahead and put my email address in the chat for those who need additional help. Be more than happy to set up a Zoom with y'all and to go into that offline as well. So once you have your payment in here, we're good to go.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
It's like the organization name. It should be Keller Williams, not my like my team or whatever name. It's just Keller Williams Realty Consultants, right?
You shouldn't have had to enter anything with your name at all.
Okay. Yeah, and the payment setup is just asking me for that organization name, and it says required. I did go to the expert mode. I don't know.
Expert mode, okay.
I had the same thing where it asked the same thing in the credit card information too.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Mine pulled through my name somehow, but it has my wrong address from years ago. I don't know how to change that.
Okay.
But it has a personal name, but I didn't enter it. It just somehow has it in there.
Yeah. So all that's going to be probably underneath like settings or within your profile. So you may just want to look at your Google account. Like I'm hovering over my picture. If you were to click on there, I'm guessing your address is probably pulling from that. And there's also some like setup links in here too that you can go through and change probably your business data, which I'm guessing may also be your address. The key thing though is once you get your credit card in, or if you're connecting using PayPal, you're going to be fine for the rest of this. But you can probably go through and do some like data hygiene, just cleaning up Google and what lives there. None of it really matters because all of this is going to be kind of behind the veil of command. We just got to make sure that we get a payment into Google because that's where we're going to pay them. But what we want to do now is just copy this Google AdWords number up here. And then we're going to jump to command. So just for the sake of having to come back here, I would recommend don't exit this tab just in case you need to come back. But let's go ahead and open a new tab and jump to command. It's going to go to agent.kw. And I'm going to go to command now. Raina, Mahir, I see hands raised. Are those old or new? It's okay if they're new.
It's the old one.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So now that we're in command, we now need to go connect our Google AdWords account. So we're going to do that by jumping up to our name in the top right-hand corner, and then going to settings. Now, this is a new breakthrough for those of you who are on a team. We do now have team campaigns. So you may want to bounce back and forth between these two profiles. I'm going to do this inside my personal account, not my team account. But depending on the structure of your team, just be mindful. If you're doing your advertising through your team, you may want to switch accounts. But I'm going to go on my personal account. I'm going to click on settings. And Clayton, I will email that out to Nicole, and then if you're part of the Georgia Lakes group, I'll email that out to our group as well. Post that inside our private Facebook group. Okay. All right. So now that I'm on my settings, I'm going to scroll through here until I find Google AdWords. My account is already connected because I've done this in the past, but you may just want to scroll down until you see, I believe it's underneath marketing automation, but you're going to look for the Google AdWords logo, which is this thing that looks like an A with Google's color scheme. And you're going to click connect account. I'm just going to take mine out so I can log in with you.
Should I do both team and personal?
So the way that works is that when you get a lead, that's the dashboard it's going to land in. So if it probably depends on like what database you want them to go to. Do you want them to go to your personal database or your team database?
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go to Google AdWords underneath marketing automation, and I'm going to click connect account. It's going to just give me this information here that I have to go set up my payment first. We already did that. I'm going to hit OK. It's going to have me sign into Google with that email address that y'all set up with.
We use a regular personal email, correct? Not the KW one?
Correct. Yep, exactly. And then you're going to see, since I've done that exercise a few times, I have a bunch of accounts that we've created. You should only have the one choice. You don't have to stress here. I'll just do my most recent one and hit continue. And then you know everything is good and running. You're in good graces when you scroll to the top. And your only choice for Google AdWords is connect more or manage account.
Looks like I already have a Google account connected to command.
Perfect.
Does that I don't know that their ID, that looks like a phone number. I don't know that it's in there. How can I check that, or do you know how?
So that whenever we first went to Google AdWords on Google, it gives you a list of start new or or choose an existing account. You probably just had one existing already. I think you've sat through this class with me before, Pam. I think we may have done that together. Either way, it's okay as long as you had a payment account, a credit card or like PayPal connected.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah, you're in good shape then. Okay. How are we feeling? Slightly defeated, but optimistic?
Oh, good.
All right.
Awesome.
I love it. Cool. Let's keep it rocking then. So let's all just take a big breath together. Let's all inhale and exhale. That's the hardest part, is setting up a Google account and getting it connected. I know that sounds crazy. It's the hardest part. Once you've done that, this is where like this gets so simple. It's like almost ridiculous. So we're now going to jump into campaigns inside of Command. So for those of you who are using this tool for the first time, it's this megaphone bullhorn icon with campaigns. We're going to go there. This is going to take us to our dashboard. Now, what button do you think we press on the screen?
Paid ads.
Paid ads. Good guess. You can't go there. But,
create campaign.
Yeah, the button I'm looking for is still up here in the top right. It doesn't leave. Create campaign. We're going to click on create campaign in the top right-hand corner. This is going to pull up a pop-up window. It's going to ask you, okay, what type of campaign do you want to run? And for today's class, we're going to click on search ad with a nice little Google logo here. Now we just tell Command what it is we want to do. So campaign name. Hopefully we've had enough time to think about what's our plan. What do we want to advertise today? Let's run an ad. Who wants me to run a free ad for them today? First person to speak.
$1 Million Mountain Properties.
Karen, all right, $1 million mountain properties. I'm just going to do mountain properties. Love it. And Karen King. Karen, what's your email?
Karen King at kw.com.
Excellent. I'm going to email you all the leads I get from this.
All right.
Cool.
I'll be happy to pay your referral.
It's all good.
Oh, Karen, I don't know you, but I hate you.
Oh, come on. Act like you guys don't know.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I do know her and I hate her.
That's a different thing. That's a different thing.
All right. So Karen, if I get any leads, I'm going to send them your way. So $1 Million Mountain Properties, that's what we're going to do. And I'm putting Karen's email in here so that I don't forget Karen's email. This is another way of just saying, it doesn't matter what you put in here, no one's going to see it. This is for my reference only. For your reference only, this is your ad. Next, we're going to pick our goal. And honest to goodness, this doesn't matter either. This screen, this button here, mostly just depends on what we do with Facebook, has no impact on Google. For the sake of it though, just to get in the habit of doing the right thing, I'm going to click on attract buyers. I should have talked about this when we had the whiteboard out a little bit. I'm going to take 1 second here with y'all. It's really, really important when you're advertising anywhere online, whether it be one of those three buckets, Facebook, Google, or like Zillow or one of those websites, that you're targeting buyers. Now, Sam, we know from the MREA that listings, leads, and leverage, specifically that listings part, why on earth would you tell me to attract buyers?
They have something to sell.
Potentially, but you have to understand where people show up as consumers.
Listings don't make a sale.
Yeah, sellers don't go online looking to list their house, but they do go online looking to buy one.
Yes, in a case that's speaking Greek to you still, I'm going to give another example. And anyone here recently purchased a vehicle? Let's talk about cars for a second. Anyone just recently bought a car?
Depends on how loosely you define recent.
Do you remember the experience?
Yes, I remember the experience.
Okay.
Right now, they're like houses. They're too expensive.
Yeah, they are, right? Yeah. I'm on the market one for myself. So yeah, I feel that pain. So when you made a decision that you were going to buy a new vehicle, did you show up as a buyer first or a seller first?
Buyer.
Buyer.
In what way?
I just basically typed in a search for the vehicle that I decided that I wanted, and was looking for vehicles. I was intentionally trying to find one that was pre-owned, and I was just looking to search local inventory to see where any of them might be.
Wow, you just described online leads for real estate as well. You did your research. You used an online resource to figure that out, and then you probably got connected with a salesperson. Or if you're like the 8% that use a for sale by owner, you probably did that on your own, but small percentage of people likely to do that. But yeah, you show up as a buyer after you've done your research. Now, Rick, did you sell your vehicle along with that purchase?
Yeah, I traded my old vehicle in for it.
Yeah, most people do, right? Same thing works with our buyers in real estate. They show up online as buyers. More than likely, they do have a house they need to sell as well. But we don't get them going to Google and saying, someone please sell my house. We get them as a buyer, and the listing is a byproduct. I know that sounds crazy to say out loud, but that's the way consumers work. They show up as buyers online. And it's really, really important, as I drop my microphone off its stand, sorry about that. It's really, really important that when you're qualifying someone and you're saying, hey, you want to go look at $1 million mountain properties, that you do not do a bait and switch. It's important to qualify them and pre-qualify them and ask the question, do you have a house to sell also? It's very important that you do not lose trust and talk all about listing your property. Again, they're in the headspace that they're a buyer. We know you want their listing. Play it cool. You will lose trust and you will lose the lead completely if you play games.
Well, and in Colorado, it's entirely likely that person is selling a house somewhere else because they're moving here.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's a beautiful area. We have a lot of relocation here in Atlanta as well. A lot of relocation. Maybe not the same architecture that y'all have out there. Slightly different. But yeah, they're showing up as buyers. So get in the habit, always attract buyers. That's the goal. Hit create campaign, and this is where we're at. Woo. All right, you guys.
I have a question. What if you're trying to attract sellers? Like, how would you be able to work that out?
Again, I'm going to get them as buyers online. And then part of my phone call to them, whenever I'm qualifying the lead, I'm saying, hey, this is Sam Jackson with Keller Williams. I had an ad up for Google and you happen to click on it. It looked like you were maybe searching for properties that were $1 million in the mountain. And I wanted to kind of learn more about what it is you're looking for. Oh, I'm just looking great. It's what my website's here for. Just kind of curious what got your attention. I'm going to go into this dialogue, calling them, qualifying them. And then one of my questions will be, do you have a house to sell as well? Do we have to sell your house in order to purchase this one? Or another question would be, are you paying for this in cash, or do we have a house to sell that we need equity from? But I'm gonna have that as part of my qualifying, that when I get this lead in a two-way conversation, a two-way dialogue, I'm slipping in the question, do you have a listing? Statistically speaking, they probably do.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It makes sense.
Yeah. The majority of your sellers will show up as buyers. Overwhelmingly, your sellers will show up as buyers. Okay. Oh, now let's breathe. This looks confusing, doesn't it? I see a lot of data here. What to do? Yeah, I'm getting overwhelmed. A lot of stuff that we got to type in. Look at this. Left side, this is all the stuff that we're going to type in. The right side over here, this is where we're going to see our ad come to life. Now, for those of you who represent the Georgia Legacy Group along with me here in Atlanta, you know the answer to this one, so don't spoil it. I like to use what we call R&D. Does anyone know in Colorado what R&D means for us? Karen, what do you got? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, Karen. I think I muted you as you came off mute. Yeah, rip off and duplicate. So the best way to rip off and duplicate, and this is going to be funny, Karen, specifically, what area do you want to sell in or do your ad in?
Evergreen.
I would do what, Rick?
Evergreen would be a great choice. There's a bunch of homes up there around $1 million.
Taiwan.
Sure.
Okay. And the town is Evergreen, Colorado?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up a new tab. I'm going to Google, and I'm literally going to type in homes for sale, Evergreen. Watch this. Holy crud. All of this stuff that I can rip off and duplicate. Now, when you start to have this existential crisis of, okay, is that ethical? Let's really magnify and look at what these people are saying. Ad number 1, Evergreen, Colorado real estate, homes and land for sale. Number 2, Evergreen, short for Colorado, homes for sale. Look for a property today. Homes for sale, Evergreen, Colorado, free search tool. Evergreen homes for sale, see current Evergreen listings. Evergreen, Colorado, real estate and homes for sale /realtor.com. Is there anything unique that these things are saying from one to the next?
Nope.
No, I'm going to like almost plagiarize these. This is how ridiculous this R&D is going to get. So find the one that you like, the one that you think is the most attractive. For me, I like this third one. I don't know why, but the Metro Denver living one sounds pretty cool. Homes for sale, Evergreen, Colorado, free search tool.
Hey, Sam, quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
With this, and this not for the class because this is an example, but with this particular example, for example, there's a lot of ads out there, a lot of stuff going on. Is this one you maybe want to avoid and pick something else, or you just want to add another ad to these ads?
Potentially, I don't know Evergreen, well enough.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, if for example, where you do the same kind of thing anyplace else.
Yeah, and that's really a good question about the difference between Google and the other leads. Right. I'm not looking to get 40 leads. I'm looking to get 2.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if I show up as number 4 here and I get one good lead that's ready to move the next 3 months,
cool.
It's cool.
Cool. Gotcha. Thanks.
Now you can spend money on advertising, and I could probably pick a subdivision to advertise in Evergreen more specifically. Is there a subdivision in Evergreen, or is that too mountainous?
Try Hiwan.
What's it called?
Hiwan. It's up by a golf club.
Hiwan.
Correct.
Right? Okay. So Hiwan, I'm gonna do homes for sale on Hiwan. In Evergreen, Colorado, look at this. I get a little bit more specific with the search of this still 4. Let me get rid of the Evergreen, Colorado part. No one's advertising. So you may want to choose Highline as one of your keywords.
Yeah, thanks. That's kind of what I was asking.
Yeah, you have 0 competition here, but you may also not have many people specifically searching what I just searched.
Right.
You may want to do a couple of these ads to kind of find that sweet spot to figure out which one's the best. But for the sake of R&D, let's go back to Evergreen. Might be a little bit easier. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna copy and paste. Copy, go to command, I'm gonna paste. Now, this is where I lose a lot of people. It's really not that complicated though. You can see command says headline 1, headline 2. Inside of Google, this is split into headline 1 and headline 2. I switch back to the actual Google. You don't really see it, but there's a hyphen here. This is essentially breaking apart headline 1 and headline 2. I don't know why it's this complicated. Google structures their ads this way, but this is just the way to let you know that there's a spot in between these 2 pieces. This isn't one line. You have headline 1, which is the first half, headline 2, which is the second. So for my first one, I'm going to copy Evergreen, Colorado homes for sale and paste that here. Headline 2 is whatever second half I'm going to rip off from another ad. Now, in this case, because we're doing mountain homes or $1 million mountain homes, I'm going to put in $1 million mountain homes for us. I got really lucky that I almost hit my character limit. I was at 29 of 30. Got to be mindful of that. Does this make sense? Okay. Now for the URL, this is where I need to direct people to. The way we started this class, we talked about you have to have a good website. This is where we direct people. Karen, are you using your KW website?
Am I live in it now? I'm not live in it right now. No.
But like, what website do you use normally?
Well, yes, I use my KW one. Yes.
Cool. Is it KarenKing.kw.com?
Yes, it is. There are 3 Karen Kings, but I was here first.
Excellent. So now, and here's another good example. So I'm going to go into Evergreen, Colorado. I'm specifically on Karen's website, so she's going to get the leads automatically. I'm going to hit search. I'm going to let this use my location here. Now, we're advertising $1 million homes in Evergreen. I see a listing right here for $699. I may be okay with that. I may not be, but technically I could come in here and filter by price and make this everything above $1 million. Maybe 950 for kicks and giggles. Now I have 74 properties there at 900,000 above. And I'm just going to copy this link up here. So when people click on my ad that says Evergreen, Colorado, home listings, $1 million mountain homes, they're going to be directed to this page right here. And if you're doing school districts, you can draw on this map and you can pick a school district specifically if you wanted to. If that's a particular school district, there's some gerrymandering if I've ever seen it with that outline. Whatever the case is, you can draw, you can do whatever you want here to pick specifically what listings you want to show up, but get specific. You're going to have better results, less friction points for your people. I'm just going to paste that in here. Now, do not panic. This looks long and ridiculous. It will get abbreviated by Google. It looks insane the way we have this built out, but it won't be that bad. Display path number 1 and number 2, we get to skip those. You don't have to touch them. If you're sending people to the screen that we just did here, you get to skip display path 1 and 2. What this would be used for is if I were directing people to just Karen's website, and if she had a page that was karenking.com/mountainhomes on her page, you can see how that built it out here on its own. We're not doing that. We're just giving the full link. So you don't have to use the display paths. Lanier, I see you have a question. Go ahead, buddy.
Yes, so I was looking and saw that the separate create landing page button. I mean, if you're putting your landing page there, like, is that for a reason? Like, would you put your main, why wouldn't you put your main site there and then the actual landing page on that create thing? I'm just kind of confused about that.
Yeah, you may came on a little bit late from when we started class too. So landing pages we used a lot back before our command websites were so good that we would have to go out and create specific pages. Like, we didn't have the functionality to do what we did with our search when this part was created with like the landing pages. You could, if you're advertising a listing, you could create a landing page. It gives you another choice that if you want to use something other than your website. A good example of that would be maybe you're going to do an event that you're going to promote. Like, I don't know, a fall festival of homes. You're going to highlight 10 homes. You could create a landing page that only has those 10 houses versus your website. It just gives you another option. I tend to like to give myself less work to do. I just like to find the right page within my website that already exists.
I got you. I understand. Appreciate it.
Cool. All right. So we're going to skip both display paths. Then description is the next thing that we need to do. I'm going to go back to my buddy Google. Should have left Google. Evergreen, Colorado. Your description is this black text that's non-bold. So find one you like, rip off and duplicate it. Do not completely plagiarize it. And just be mindful that you do have some character limits here as well. This cannot be very, very long. So I'm going to find and rip off and duplicate somebody else's description. Create campaign, go to the description part, and I'm going to paste that. That's only 60 of 80 characters. Find a home in Evergreen, search the latest listings now. Maybe I'm going to say find a $1 million. $1 million home in Evergreen. Search the latest listings now. And you're going to see that show up here on your ad on the right. Now, again, this does look ridiculous with this really, really long hyperlink. I promise you that will not show up that way. Are we good so far? Rocking and rolling? Okay. Now,
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Mayra. I copy and pasted the URL from my Keller Williams page, and I'm getting an error that says the URL provided contains errors or is not a valid URL. Please
yes.
The URL.
This one right here. So sometimes this happens when you first go into here, you'll see that command puts this HTTPS in. You may have 2 of those.
Okay.
So scroll all the way to the left, and I'm going to guess you probably have HTTPS twice.
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
You got it. That'll get rid of it. Good catch.
Awesome.
All right. So now everybody do this with me. I want you to reach above your head and take off your realtor hat. Set it down next to you. We're going to think like consumers for a second. Is that cool? If I'm searching for properties, specifically $1 million homes in Evergreen, what am I searching for?
You're searching for views. You're searching for
you're searching for panache. You're searching for
a parcel
marble.
of a certain size.
For statues. You're searching for, you know, inlaid. You're searching for big chandeliers, all kinds of good stuff.
Antonio, you did not take your hat off, did you?
I'm thinking private
I'm messing with you.
have children, golf courses.
Oh, y'all are killing me. All right. Again with everybody.
I think it's just you're searching for $1 million homes, period.
Grab the hat, take it off. Do you need to go to Amazon and buy something real quick just to feel like a consumer? How do consumers search?
$1 million
home search.
Okay. So like if you were going to go to Google and find listings right now for Evergreen, how would you do it?
Evergreen.
First thing I put
Evergreen, Colorado.
City and state. 3-bath homes.
Luxury homes. Mountain
Homes in Evergreen.
All right. I heard some of it in here. Let's break that down. Evergreen luxury homes was a good one. I heard that one. And I can hit create. Or you can hit comma. Hold on. It's not going to let you do comma. They changed that. So Evergreen luxury homes, create. I'm going to do my next one. Evergreen, Colorado, luxury homes, create. Evergreen, Colorado, luxury homes.
Can you search by zip code?
You don't need to. A little bit further down, it's going to ask us where do we want to place this. We're going to pick those zip codes. You could though, if you think that people are going to search by the zip code, but think about this. I know nothing about Evergreen, Colorado. I'd have to Google what the zip code is first before I'd have to go type in homes for sale in that zip code. So for me, if I'm in Google, I'm just going to Google homes for sale in this, and I'm going to type out the city. I wouldn't go to Google twice, right? That was a really, really good question.
A quick question. So let me ask this. I'm assuming that you can put as many of those key search words as you want?
Only 10.
Only 10.
Only 10.
Would you suggest maybe if Evergreen High School was like the elite high school over there, somebody might just be looking for somebody in that high school district?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. So if, and again, every part of the country is a little bit different. So if the high school is called something other than Evergreen High School, it probably does make sense to include school stuff. So for example, here in the town that I'm in, I live in Cumming, Georgia, but we have like Denmark High School, or Lambert High School has nothing to do with the name of the city itself. So yeah, I may want to include that verbiage if it makes sense. Homes for sale in high school or homes for sale in school district. Those are really good questions.
Is this a keyword that affects the SEOs by any chance?
So yeah, in a sense. So it's SE, so the O stands for optimization. That's for like the back end data stuff that lives behind your website. This is just really thinking how people search.
So can you
how would a person go to Google and search this?
Can you put top rated schools?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now and here's the thing. So we can do that. But you have to remember that for Karen's ad, we were specifically targeting our niche was $1 million homes in Evergreen. If you're doing top schools or if you're in the top school district and that's your target, you would include that school data. For this case, I want to simplify it. I'm talking luxury and price point of $1 million. If you're going to do an ad based on the school district, yes, include school district. But this is where like you may want to create multiple ads that maybe target the same area with a different niche.
So would a good keyword be like $1 million homes in Evergreen, Colorado?
Yes, if you think people search that way.
And what about 5-bedroom homes in Evergreen?
That one, so for me, when it comes to the guts of the house, that's going to be my trash keywords. And by that, I mean, if I have 9 keywords that I've come up with, I'll use that as my 10th. I don't know that everybody's searching that way. Because you have to remember, that's how people search on Zillow, because they've already identified where they want to live. They've already identified what their price point maybe is, and they can decide whether or not they can afford a 5th bedroom or maybe a finished basement. That's a little bit more advanced research from a consumer. People who are on Google just started.
Okay.
So you have to kind of peel it back a little bit. If I'm just, and like, think of this personally. Take yourself out of the place you live, and let's just say that all of us are going to go purchase a home in Nome, Alaska. If I can afford $1 million house in Nome, Alaska, how would I search?
So again, I'm thinking if I'm going to go buy a home, I needed to have at least X number of bedrooms. And if that number is 5, you know, or I'm thinking $1 million home probably has 5 bedrooms.
Is it okay? So let's make you a consumer real quick. You're going to go buy a house in Nome, Alaska. Do you know anything about Nome, Alaska?
No.
Me either. Okay. Would it be more concerning to you that if you're actually going to move there, let's just say that you're getting relocated tomorrow against your will, is it more important to you that you figure out the area, or is it more important that you figure out the house?
The area.
Yeah, start there.
Sometimes when I get writer's block, I go back to Google and I scroll down until I see related searches.
Oh.
So if we look at this for related searches, like really interesting stuff comes up. Like I searched evergreen luxury homes. And when I put that in, and sometimes it's going just like one step away, right? When I search evergreen luxury homes in Google, I saw Evergreen Mansion, Colorado. That came up as another related search. Then that kind of like stuck in my mind. I was like, okay, mansion is a word that consumers are using that I wasn't. I need to start including that. So that can kind of break you out of that writer's block, or like still wearing your realtor hat sometimes, like, and you can get some good insights just again from Google. Thank you, Google, for the related search stuff.
Nicole, I think a big one. I forgot about the related searches. I never go beyond the first two or three things on Google. Yeah, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see recommended searches. So what Nicole is mentioning is down here, you'll see the word mansion. So what was the search that got you there? Luxury.
Yeah, so I searched evergreen luxury homes.
So we searched that instead. Oops.
Is there a difference between evergreen luxury homes and luxury homes evergreen?
No, well, no, you show the same 3 keywords in a different order is what you're asking.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. You should probably put in Colorado because perhaps there might be more than one evergreen somewhere. Or no.
If you're not against keywords, yes.
Okay.
So for example, for us in Georgia, we have a town called Roswell. A lot of times we'll get automatically connected to Roswell, is it New Mexico or Nevada, wherever the aliens are?
Mexico.
Yeah. So depending on how unique it is, there is still going to be geo-targeting that's attached to this. So we're going to target by like where people are searching. So there's that aspect to this, but yeah, if you have the extra keywords, if you didn't run up against your limit of 10, feel free to do, Colorado or every variation of that too.
Well, when they contact me and they really wanted to buy a home in Evergreen, Georgia, I'll be forwarding it out as a referral.
I'm sure we probably have a town called Evergreen, Georgia. Yeah, Evergreen Mansion is a keyword.
Supposedly, there are like 57 Fairfield cities in the United States, which means there's more than one in some states.
Oh, for sure. You add that with like our dead presidents as well. There's probably Washingtons and Jeffersons everywhere.
Yeah, make no mistake, we do have Roswell type aliens, crazy folk in Roswell, Georgia too.
Love it. All right. So for the sake of this, I'm going to just do 6 keywords here. For the sake of time, do not leave a keyword off the table. Max out at 10 every time. All right. Targeting locations. Now this is where you can get absolutely crazy. I can type in Evergreen, Colorado. Oops, I should have stopped typing. What is the zip code for Evergreen?
We're looking it up.
Got to Google it, right?
Yeah.
Sam, what are you putting in now? Location?
Zip code.
80437.
Under
I would have guessed that. I was thinking 8436. All right. So can we not do that? 80437?
Uh-huh.
All right. So apparently.
Or 80439.
What was that second one?
80439.
439. There we go. It would let me do that one. It would let me do the first one. Okay. And you can go crazy here. So I'm going to do Evergreen. I'm going to do the zip code. I would do, depending on the area of the country that you're targeting, I would do every area or every zip code around the area that you're targeting. Every bordering city. I would just go and type them out. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. But again, leave no stone unturned here. Type out as much as you can. And I wouldn't be afraid to do Colorado, the entire state. I also would not be afraid to do the United States. And this would mean that if anybody in the United States is searching Evergreen, Colorado luxury homes, I'm going to show up as their ad. So I want this hyper-local search with Evergreen, the specific zip codes. I want to go to a state level. And if anyone in the state of Colorado is searching this, I'm going to target that. And if there's anybody in the United States, I'm going to target that as well. So again, if there is somebody in my hometown right now searching Evergreen, Colorado luxury homes, I'm going to get them. I should show up as an ad to them. Make sense? Okay. Gender, male, female, I ain't touching it. Age, this is the opposite. You have to touch all of them. I have to go through and actually select each of these. Since I'm being recorded, I will say that if you were to accidentally leave one or two of these off, that'd be a real shame. But also, there's fair housing. Don't be an idiot. It is not worth the $2 that you may save by getting yourself in a world of trouble with being an ageist. Include them all. Be safe here. Last but not least, we're going to pick our ad placement. Make this really easy. Search network. Without going into a ton of detail, that's just basically meaning that you're going to show up as one of these ads that look like a search result. Let me see if I can get one. First time ever I didn't have an ad. There we go. That means that you're going to show up like this. You're going to show up as basically a result. So when in command, when you pick search network, you're going to show up as a result in that 1 or 2 spot, hopefully.
What do the other two mean?
So display network, these are for more like specific things. So a good example of that would be, let me search donuts near me. This would be like a display ad. You could show up as like a result above Dutch Monkey Donuts. There's also some tie-ins on specific websites. Like if I were to go to Yelp, Google also has some advertising to where you could show up as an ad, like with some of these websites that use like Google Maps as well. For our case, we don't really want to show up as a display ad. We want to do a search ad. Okay. We're going to hit save. That's done. There's a sample on the right of what our ad's mostly going to look like, minus that crazy URL. Then from here, you're going to pick your budget and duration. And this is the part where I say, I don't care. You put in what you invest, what you want to invest. I'm not here to tell you how much money that you can afford to put in here. I will say that if you're going to spend some money, expect a return. So if I'm going to invest $30, I want to at least get 1 lead. My minimum is 1 lead, right? Because that 1 lead could easily turn into whatever your average commission is. But I'm not going to go in here and spend $1,000 and get 1 lead. That margin does not start to make sense. For me, the sweet spot, if I'm going to run it for a month, and I would recommend do this for about a month. So that's for however many days that is, 36 days, I guess is what I did. I ideally want to spend, again, my sweet spot somewhere between 150 and 250 for the entire month. That's right around $4 a day. This is important. This part right here, the per day part is really important. So if you don't have a lot of money to spend, and let's just say that you're going to spend $50, go ahead and spend your $50, but do it for less than 30 days. The reason for that is when I go to Google and I'm going for homes for sale in Evergreen or whatever the keywords you decide, Google is what we call pay per click advertising, which means that basically I'm going into an auction against these other two companies. So Baycom.com and Metro Denver Living, if I'm going after the same people that they're going after or the same ads, the words they're targeting, I'm trying to outbid them for this spot, the number one spot. So if their daily bid is higher than mine, they're going to beat me out for this. So if your total budget is $50, do it for less days. If your daily, or if your total budget is $20, do it for like 4 days. You want to make sure that
Sam,
per day budget's like $5.
Sam, what do you shoot for as your daily budget? Are you generally trying to keep around $4 a day, or what are you thinking?
4 to 7. I would not go more than 7 per day.
Now I have another question too.
Yeah.
This is like something that is kind of like related to Yelp Business, and when they help you promote, also like doing that click, like you were just mentioning. I've had calls that they say they do the unlimited clicks for like maybe like about around $2 to $50, and they help you. Have you tried that? Have you heard about that?
That was specifically with Yelp?
No, so it's related. So it's like, so Yelp did it, and then Google started doing it, and I started receiving calls too. Because not only do I do the real estate, I also just have another business with it. Okay. But they're like, so I guess because like Yelp is similar like that by clicking how you said, right? But they said they have like an unlimited clicks for like, I think it was like 250. Like, have you heard about that?
Yeah. So this is, so not to make this confusing, they're now calling it, instead of cost per click, CPC, or pay per click is what they call it, it's cost per conversion. So you only pay those companies like that who are using this model when you convert a lead.
Right. And then, I mean, Google is offering it. So that's why I'm just like, okay, so would it be a better way just to go through that route and just like be doing like different ads, or?
Potentially. So part of that is, I don't think that we have that feature built on command yet. So that could get really, really complicated if you don't know that area, that you'd have to go to Google and run an ad completely yourself. And part of why I like command so much with our partnerships with companies like Google and Facebook is we simplified how easy it is to make an ad. When you start going into Google, there's a lot more like demographics and things that you have to pay attention to. And unlike command, we tie in things like compliance and fair housing into like what we've built out. That's not the case with companies like Facebook and Google. So you could potentially get in a little bit more trouble there, potentially, if you don't know what you're doing. But I would say like do both. If you're confident with it, run an ad in command, go run one on Google and see which one does better. Just cut your budget in half and just kind of split them between the two sites and see if you like them. It's a little bit different for everybody. Like all of us are on Facebook, well, at least probably the majority of us. Not all of us have the same following or influence. You're going to find your niche. I would say just test it and keep playing around with it.
Have you personally tried it though?
Haven't. Nope.
No.
I'm not. Nope.
Is there a way to know?
I will though. I'll take a look at that. That does sound interesting.
Yeah, because I tried it with Yelp and that wasn't good. So I was like, don't spend your money on that one. But like, that's why I wanted to ask you with Google, like, is it worth it? Because like, it's just like doing all the bunch of clicks, you actually get to it faster than you think. Especially if you're like, targeting a whole bunch of public and using all those keywords, you're going to get to those clicks super faster.
Well, and to be quite honest, this is where we kind of start the class, is that majority of agents are afraid of Google to begin with. So just being on Google, regardless of which way you're spending, you're already outpacing your competition. If you can get another edge and do pay per conversion, go for it.
Hey, Sam, is this like same as Facebook ads? You can't change it once you do it?
Correct. You can't change it once you do it. And this is the opposite advice I give with Facebook. With Facebook, if you're not getting results you want, I usually recommend kill the ad. Like if you're not getting leads within the first 24 hours, kill it. With Google, I tend to say let it ride. It's almost like gambling at the casino. I'm going to walk in with $150, go to the blackjack table and expect to lose that. I'm not going to the casino with $150 and expecting to come out a millionaire. Be okay with losing this money. Before you put it in this budget line, be okay losing this money. You cannot edit it though. Cool. All right, so I'm going to hit save. My last button, I'm going to hit publish campaign. Last button. This goes live. Karen, I love you. I did not budget this class for $150. I'm going to knock you down to $50. Glad I saw that. I'll give you $50 in free advertising.
You cheapskate.
Oh, that's bait and switch right there, Samo.
I'm still happy, and I'm still happy to pay
real estate agent.
All right, guys, we're gonna bump.
I'm still just sore that she beat me to the race to get you to run a free ad for her.
We're just gonna bump this to 500, and when y'all aren't looking, I'm just gonna cancel the ad. Now we'll do 50. Yeah, so we'll do $50. Again, that takes me down to $1.39 per day, just to make sure I'm walking the walk, not the talk. I don't want to go that high day wise. It's not worth it. Let's just do it for like a week at $50.
Sam, I have a question again about the duration and budget.
Yeah.
You said that if I want to do let's just say $50, actually, let's just go to $20. If I want to do a budget of $20, do I select a shorter amount of time?
Yeah, that'd be my advice. So regardless of what number I'm putting in here, whether it be 50 or 20, what I'm ultimately looking at is that when I hit enter, I want to go over here to the left. I want to see this per day number.
Okay.
I like to be as close to 5 as I can. If it ends up being 4, no big deal, but I'm going to change, since I'm about half that right now, I want to change just to end instead of August 19th, probably August 16th. That gets me to $4 a day for 5 days. I like that number a lot better.
Got it. Now,
the weekend.
The next question will be, once that budget is depleted, would it automatically recharge another $20 or it's automatic?
Great question. It is not automatic. This is a one-time campaign.
Got it.
So here's, if you got good results from your campaign, let me go ahead and run this one. Let me double check my days. That's good. So once I run this campaign, if I like it and I got good results from it, you can easily duplicate it. So it's not an automatic recharge. However, if the 9 days were to pass and I got really good leads from this, I'll see that this will change from active to completed, like you see with my other ads. I just come over here to the kebabs or the 3 dots on the right. I can click duplicate campaign. So if I run this ad and I get 5 or 6 leads, I'm super thrilled about that. Just hit duplicate, and then you can run it again, or you can duplicate and customize, which basically just means duplicate and edit.
So you will get a notification that the campaign is finished, and then you start over.
Yeah, so you actually won't get a notification that your campaign has ended. Just whenever you come into your paid ads, you'll see that this is finished.
You have to it.
Yeah, so you watch it, but you'll get a status update here that these are done.
Okay, thank you.
And what's cool about all this going inside a command, you're going to see how you're doing. So cost per impressions, cost per click, cost per lead converted, and then your total spend. So this is the $51 I have invested, and then you'll see how much I've actually paid Google along the way. So you'll see like a status that this will go from $0 to $1 to $2 to $3 as I go throughout the week, up until I hit 50.
So where do the leads come in?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting part. So it's going to look like you have 0 leads inside of here. Because you have to remember, Google's not doing the actual converting, your website is. So these are going to come through like their website leads.
And how do you check for, I'm sorry to be so ignorant, but how do you check to see what, because I mean, I do very little with my website.
Yeah. So if your website, again, if you're using the command one, like the one that you're giving through KW, there's few places where we force registration. Very few. This is almost like Zillow in a sense that obviously, here, I'm actually logged in. Let me sign out. If I'm not logged in as a person and I just go search a property, and let's just say that I landed on Karen's page and I like this house here for 2.6. When I click on it, I'm free to search. No one's asking me for my information. However, when I click ask your agent, it's going to prompt me to sign up. If I do this as a consumer, you'll get a lead inside of Command. If I schedule a video tour, that's basically like a fun way of saying contact us, and I fill this out as a consumer, you'll get notified as an agent.
Just the Command. Will we get an email, or will we get what? How will we know?
Yeah, so Command, honestly, the best way, and this is my personal opinion, this is one of the few reasons why it still makes sense to have the Kelly app downloaded on your phone.
Ugh.
You'll get a push notification that says new lead received from your website, and you'll know instantly. Not to mention, for those, I heard that, I feel that way too, right? Kelly's almost useless to the point. It's okay. Checking profit share and getting lead notifications are the two key things Kelly's used for. You also get notified when people log back into your website. So like if I were to go to your website and sign up and then come back 2 hours later and sign in again and look at houses again, you'll get notified that I'm on your website.
You have to sign in the first time for those repeat visits to provide a notification, right?
Yep, exactly. So if I hit ask your agent, schedule a video tour, if I favorite a property, obviously it's going to ask me, I need to sign up if I'm going to save something. And then the other place would be if I come down through here and I do the commute time. So if I'm going to see how far away my office is from this house, it's going to have me register as well. It's going to save that information.
So you said it's the Kelly app, not like the KW app, like if someone, like it's a buyer is looking to search for a home, so it's something else?
Yeah, so the Kelly app is like Keller without the R. It's your personal assistant. It's a little blue app with the white KW logo. You'll sign in with your Command login, like the same one you use for your KW. And it's like your personal assistant, essentially. It is being replaced probably within the next month by Command Mobile.
Yay.
Yeah. Now, I can say that because I did not sign an NDA. I'm not part of the group.
You just gave it up there. So
that's all the information I can give. I can't give any more details, but yeah, there's a new app that's coming forward called Command Mobile.
So is there a way, like if you get on this page and you clicked on the one, my concern is that I'm going to look at this, or my client or someone will look at this and go, oh, that's interesting. I don't want to talk to anyone yet. And then back out and find another. So they can just like click around and never register.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the risk.
Yep. And this is why we say Google leads are a little bit more, are a better lead, because the goal here is that they are going to interact with us. And they do want to contact an agent, and they've done a little bit of research. I heard another question. Go ahead. Okay. I thought I heard another question. The other, I'm not sure who made that comment, but the other what if scenario is that a lot of times you'll see other agencies, they'll use these websites to where it doesn't matter. The second I go to a website and I hit search, the second I pull up a listing, like when I click this button right here, before I even go there, it asks me for my contact information. Do you know what happens whenever you use a website like that? People automatically go,
okay, get out
okay,
of Dodge.
Yeah, you're going to force me to register to go view 2015 11th Avenue. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to go to Zillow and type in 2015 11th Avenue in Zillow, and now you've lost that lead.
Yeah.
You've paid money to walk them through your front door that was Google, and you kicked them out the back door that's Zillow. So we're very, very strategic on when we ask for registration within our website, because we've done a lot of research there.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Question. When they activate that search, they come to that property, and then that page pops up that says the ask your agent option on there. There's an option for them right above your name there to save this property. If they save the property, are you also notified?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ah, so that's another way to get notified. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, and honestly, I know there's a lot of questions about your website. Sign up as a consumer. This is going to be the best way for you to understand how these things work. It's just like, Congratulations, I'm handing you all $1 million. Just go buy a property in some place that you want to live in. That's not your hometown. Go move to Boca Raton and go see what it's like to live there. Do that with your own website. When you start to understand how we differentiate ourselves from Zillow and the way they tick, oh, this is a dream. It's gonna be so easy to get people to your website and your app. All right, was this helpful today?
Absolutely.
Extraordinarily. Honestly,
Yeah.
I really appreciated this information before I signed up for Google the first time and read my $186 Google ad that did butt kiss for me.
Now, there are no guarantees that we don't do bump kiss today either. And yet I feel like we have ourselves a pretty decent ad.
Okay, can I ask you, when are you going to be put this on in Command with Sam?
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll download this recording. I'll send a copy over to Nicole for her team here. And then this may take a while to upload. I'll throw it on my YouTube channel, specifically underneath the playlist that says in-class recordings.
And Sam, I'll let you know when I get a lead.
You got it, Karen. I appreciate that. Just take a look at it. It's not going to come across as Google. You're going to see it as a website hit. So I get credit for anything that comes through in the next 19 days or whatever.
Got it.
Thanks, Sam. Take care, buddy.
You got it. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and end the recordning. I'm
Thank
going
you.
to hang out for questions
Thank
for anyone
you.
that wants to hang on.
Sam.
You got it.
Thank
Yes.
you.